Performance here with another daily training video where we're still working on the escrima in this series. It's the intermediate ranking weapon. The black belts also use it as well at higher ranks. Honestly, anybody can do it. If you're a beginner and you want to play around and do it, you can. You just need a stick that's approximately 2 foot to 24 to about 28 inches. You could use a wooden spoon from the kitchen to at least work on the basics, so don't stress about it. But you don't want anything that's too heavy or too long because it just doesn't work the same. So in this video, we're going to do what's called a redondo, which is basically a circular spinning action. There's a couple different angles and things we can do it from, so we're just playing around with it. So from our guard position, I can do a redondo, a same side redondo. I can do a downward redondo. I can do an upward redondo. The idea with the redondo is you don't want to open your hand. It's not about it spinning between your fingers, because as soon as the stick gets hit, you're going to end up letting it go. I do want to keep my hand around it. I can be loose, that's fine, but I don't want to release my fingers. A forward redondo is when the stick comes as if it's going forward on an angle 6. It rolls toward the outside of my body, back around, and down. Okay? You could do 2, 1, 2, and then down. You could do 1. I mean, to be quite frank, you could sit there and do 750, but it would just look silly. We tried it, depending on the drill. We never really do more than 2, because the idea could be that I'm hitting an incoming stick or an object, and then I'm hitting my opponent. I always like to make sure that I finish my redondos with making it a bit of a strike, not just doing this and going, cool, that was fancy, but doing the strike and then really pulling it into the hit. From the downward position, the same thing. I could do it going up, as if I'm bringing it upwards, like I'm going to try to hit myself with it, but I keep it rotated on the outside of the body and up. And same thing, I'll bring it up and get that strike with it. Up, down, okay? Once you get the idea of the upward and downward redondo, and it takes time, remember, keep it on the outside of your body, you could do it with 2. Okay, so you can sit there and work on both at once to go down and up. The more equal-sided we are, the better. If all of a sudden you find, hey, this one works great, and then with the left one you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, practice the left one more. You guys are at home training. Do 100 redondos a day. Do 50 in the morning, do 50 at night. Nobody says that you gotta, oh, cool, I did it 3 times, I'm the master. Work on getting, and remember, as I said before, end it with a little effort in that strike. You want to challenge yourself, 1 up, 1 down, do them opposites. I will rotate my body as I do it. I like to rotate toward the one that's coming up, because then that downward one gets my hip into a little bit more, up and back. Now, instead of doing the same side redondo, I could also do a diagonal or opposite side redondo, which means basically from here, it looks like I'm cutting an angle 10, right, across. I cut that 10, and now as I rotate my body, I'm using the back of my hand. So if you remember in the other escrima video, we talked about how as if this was a blade that I cut with the blade. This is one of the situations where I would use the flat of it, if you can see the back of my hand here, to finish my circle. Okay, so I can cut that angle, use the back end of it forward and back up toward my head, and then rotate back on the other angle. So for instance, if you watch the video that had to do with the angles, okay, we looked at this as an angle 10, and this is an angle 12, right? I could do my angle 10, I could do my forehand redondo, and then I can cut my angle 12 to come back, and then even do one on this side. Okay? Use your hips and your shoulders. Don't just stand there and do this with your arms. If you rotate your body with each strike, it actually makes it so it'll go a little better. If you notice, just this is my habit from training. My other hand is constantly, it's almost kind of moving. We call this our live hand or our checking hand. It's our secondary hand. Don't just do this and let it die at your side, because when you get into more advanced stuff, you're going to be using this to block, you're going to be using this to grab things. We can also use it with a second weapon. Because again, with those redondos, I could cut my right hand, and then my left hand, and then my right hand, and then my left hand. I could go back and forth working on that redondo. You get really good. You can even do it going upward. You could have the right hand and the left hand chase each other. Okay, just with those little bit of spins. I know it looks like a lot of just like flailing around, but when you put some oomph into those strikes, a little bit of effort, the strikes are gonna feel a lot better. It's a big coordination builder, okay? I said this on the other video, don't do this in front of the TV. Watch out for who's around you. Don't hit the dog. Don't hit your little sister, whatever you're doing, be cool. Send me videos, let me know how you're doing. I wanna see it so I can give you some feedback, okay? Take care, guys, be safe.